Hi, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're switching it up. Normally we talk about a little bit about history. This one we're going to focus on a specific artwork. Today we're going to be talking about the Pitia or the Pity. It is a beautiful piece of artwork meant to represent Mary's sorrow after she removes her son from the cross. So here you can see Mary just holding her son. This is right after, presumably, the crucifixion and his removal from the cross, and before they do all the burial preparations. So, a few key things to note here is how bright Jesus looks in comparison to the rest of the statue. It's kind of hard to tell here, and you'll be able to see in later pictures, but he's actually extremely polished. This was a deliberate uh, point that was made to make him look brighter, where this artwork was originally placed in a dark corner of a chapel. It was supposed to show Jesus' divinity because he was supposed to be brighter than the rest of the sculpture. Mary is supposed to look depressed, obviously, the pity. She looks saddened at her son's death, and understandably so, as we'll talk about later. So I want you guys kind of take in the full beauty here and really appreciate the full splendor of the artwork. So, some of the background. It was created by Michelangelo. Um, it was commissioned in 1498 by a French cardinal. That's actually where they sourced the marble from, was France. Um, at the time, there was a little disagreement between the French monarchs and the Pope. So it was kind of as a diplomatic thing. They wanted to regain that love from the Pope, or that blessing from the Pope. And then now it is located in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. All right. So let's talk about some of the reasons this is truly a depiction of Renaissance art. So, for one, as I mentioned, Jesus is highly polished. So, that divinity, that Christ like divinity, that focus on light, obviously. And then you can see the realistic depiction of these figures. So, comparing it to the picture on the far right, which is a medieval sculpture, you can clearly see the difference in the faces. And I picked this because it is a depiction of Mary and her son Jesus when he was younger, obviously. And you can definitely see the difference in here. It's a huge difference in quality, the huge difference in you're almost drawn in. You can feel Mary's sorrow in that middle photo, and the one on the right looks somewhat. I mean, it doesn't look human in some ways. It's a little more blown up. The proportion of Mary's head to her body is just way out of whack. It's just not as realistic as the Patia. Um, Moving on here, here's another depiction, same scene, and you can clearly see the difference here between the way it is sculpted, the way it looks, as far as quality and as far as the human body goes. You take a look at the left hand again. Mary's head is disproportionate on the left one. Jesus's muscles are a little odd. The womb is extremely kind of convoluted in that one. His legs look a little off. It's just not a realistic depiction. Something that's not typical of Renaissance art. And again, that is a medieval artwork compared to the Patia, and you can clearly see that the Patia is a far superior artwork. Just as a way of over time what happened. So that is kind of the realism of this whole artwork. It is a very realistic, very humanist style of art, and you can see that in all of Michelangelo's work, especially in the Sistine Chapel. You can really see that master of realism. Similarly, humanism, obviously, um, humanism is, I think, expressed best through Mary's face. You can almost feel her sorrow in this image. And like I said earlier with the light, she was kind of pushed back, hidden, and you could really feel her sorrow when it's in a darkened room, when the light's focused on Jesus. Jesus is emitting this light in comparison to his mother, who is severely depressed. So to kind of paint that picture for you, yeah, I think she just met her son on the way to the cross, and she witnessed the crowds who had just been praising him a week before, now calling for his crucifixion. She witnesses Jesus' crucifixion, the storm that comes with it, the chaos around her, the truly saddening. It's a mother watching her son die. It's an emotion that few would ever want to feel. It is, especially to a mother that believed that her son is the coming of the Savior. She believed that her son was God, and it's just a really heartbreaking scene. And then obviously we talked a little bit before about this is Jesus's body being taken down from the cross, and that's what she's seeing. So these are just a few of the sorrows that Mary has to go through throughout Jesus's life. As you can see, it's part of the seven sorrows that the Catholic Church recognizes, and it's just a really beautiful depiction of the sixth sorrow, sorry, that Mary has had gone through. So it's really a beautiful depiction here. And then you can see Michelangelo's name there um, in a little bit better detail. All right. And then lastly, this is just the whole artwork. Again, and I just wanted to point out a few other things here. Um, it is actually not as big as a lot of people think it is. It is, it's about human scale, roughly speaking. Mary is a little larger than a typical female would be for the time frame. Jesus is about spot on, so it's not actually a massive sculpture, which a lot of people think, oh man, it's huge. It's like a 10-story building. It's not. It's actually a very realistic size, which is another part of that humanism. It's another beautiful part of this artwork. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.